Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. We have a question for you. I have made my way through life pretty successfully. A home, a family, friendships, and career. Now I have found some peace. But still there is this vast space opening inside of me, which I do not longer want to fill up with more entertainments, with a bit of meditation here, another book reading there. So what to do with this space, wide opening inside of me? Thank you.
Everyone looks for the meaning of life and for a direction. And when we look for the meaning, we find this empty space. And we want to see a path, we want to see a goal. And what most people do not understand, that you cannot think this meaning. When you ask yourself, does life has a meaning? Or what is the meaning of my life? Then there can be 1,000 answers, but none of them will satisfy you. Yeah. Because the meaning has to be given to you. Yeah. It is not something that you can give it to yourself. So when you are in this configuration, which is with many people like this, there is many people that live a quite happy life. They have a family, they understood the preciousness of a family, they have a kind of career, and they are thankful about it, but they feel and they see and they understand they haven't connected yet with the divine reality, with the higher self. So there is a point, and we do this in the Oasis system, that you can work yourself out exactly to more or less this point, that you are a person who is with good hopes and with good moods and in a good situation. But now you are a bit puzzled. What is more, how to go deeper, how to go further. And this is the moment you need somebody that has done that journey before you. You need a master, you need someone who has this connection and can bring you to the door where you need to walk through. That door for everyone is a different one. There is not a common door. In the first phase of spiritual development, you need to make an involution, which means you need to return to the principles of life, to the laws which have been laid down in all the holy books. And they are also the same in every holy book. They are the same. Actually, in every spiritual tradition, they are the same. So there is an involution, and the involution will bring you to a point of purity. This you can do by yourself, where you need someone to take your hand, because you go into the evolution. And this is an adventurous journey where you will explore worlds that are unknown. Yeah. And they can be very confusing and very dangerous also if you don't have somebody who guides you through it, who is there and knows the beginning of the journey and the end, who knows the different dimensions in which you may possibly be in contact, who knows how to travel in different time zones And when we mean time zones, we don't speak about time zones on Earth, but there are different times in our universes. There is not one time. There are different times. There are different futures, different pasts, different presences. Yeah. So all this can be very, very confusing. You need to know the reality of time and space and what it does to your life when you move just simply from the bathroom to your sleeping room. Yeah. That you need to know all these things. What actually is it that you can do, and to become aware of it, and like this to become the director of your life and to become the master of your life. No. So with that, you need a guide. Yeah. And that means you must come into a kind of relationship where you do not ask things, where you also have not the right of explanations, where you do not look right and left and trying to walk different paths at the same time, but you just listen to the orders. So when the Sheikh sees you, that you are ready to listen to orders, he will probably give you very small orders, just to be sure that you can make and keep small orders. These orders have to do with the spiritual practicing, but they can be also very different things. And just to know that you do it, and that you hold it and that you can hold it. If that is not the case, then you can still be with the Sheikh and you receive a certain blessing. Yeah. But you will not have an opening. This is the case with many, many and most of students. They even have a tradition, they even follow it. They follow a Sheikh so-called, but essentially they also don't move. Yeah. And they feel that and they know that. And this is why you see this anger in the religious world and also in other spiritual movements. There is a lot of anger in these groups very often. Yeah. It has simply to do with the fact that if you can't listen, if you cannot really follow, yeah, there is not a way for you to arrive. Yeah. In the spirit world, there's a very, very strict laws. There's no exceptions on them. Whatever people have, whatever kind of imaginations they have, they need to be strict because, as we said before, our cosmos, our universe, all the universes, they work in an utmost precision. So that means you need to know precision, you need to know exactly what is your situation and how to move in it. You don't know it by yourself, so that's why you need somebody. And it can only work through this precision. No? In our tradition, we say to walk the path is as if you walk on the blade of a sword. Yeah. Any movement, any uncontrolled movement, left or right, and you cut yourself. So when the Sheikh sees you are ready to go on the blade, yeah, which is not before like that, you will not be coming on the blade, because if you are like a drunken one in your life, you cannot walk on the blade. No, even you think you are reaching already something, but in that category, there's a huge difference. You can distinguish it with an amateur football player and with a professional, or with an amateur boxer and a professional. Yeah. There's a huge difference between them. So the same way is if you make your spiritual life your everything, then you come close to this blade. Yeah. And if you understand that the only thing which matters is to awaken, whatever the costs are, whatever the pain is, whatever people will talk about you. Sometimes the Sheikh will just ruin your reputation, for example. Yeah. It will just make you such a bad guy in the eyes of the public that you will really, really think you don't want to live anymore, you know? Yeah, because they hear your name and they say, oh my God, yeah, this is the devil, or this is this and that, no? And sometimes it will be the opposite. Maybe he sends you in a life configuration which is totally boring. Yeah. Says you go and work in an office 8 to 5, yeah, for the next 2 years and nothing else. There can be so many things. And one thing be assured, what you read in the books will not be repeated. Yeah. So you cannot prepare yourself for it. Yeah. Every time has its own methods. And therefore, there can be a lot of people around a master, but in reality, there might be nobody that really can make it. And I remember one time that when there was this question of who is going to be the successor, yeah, in our tariqat, that he said to me, I'm waiting on a banana box. This is what he said. I'm waiting for someone to come. And I was saying some names where I thought that they could be very possible candidates. But he denied all of them. And sometimes it happens that there is no successor. They are very advanced ones. They are very good people, yeah, but they haven't reached the real thing, yeah. And this happens very often, yeah. It's not something which is an exception, but it is also not a rule, but it happens very often. And in our times, the requirements to be a student are even higher than before. And the logic of it is that nothing stands still. So what a person had to learn 1,000 years ago was a very different thing than what a person has to learn now. Yeah. Nothing stands still. But a person needed to know in chemistry or medicine 100 years ago is nothing compared to what a person needs to know now. So everything develops, everything changes, and it is always expanding because that's the nature of the divine. So our universe is expanding, knowledge is expanding, states are expanding, everything expands. And especially in our time, where we are supposed to come in a golden area anymore, again, in a beautiful situation. That means from where we are now, people have to make jumps. It's not a step. It is about jumping. No. So, my dear, when you are ready to jump, yeah, and you cannot know where you are asked to jump, but let me give you one hint. The jumps will never be like this, that you become more important or that you think I'm greater or I'm special. No, the jumps are always towards your own nothingness, to the 0 point. Yeah. So the one who is ready to bring himself to be ashes, that's the one who has been given. Because there can be only a 0 next to the 1. Welcome.